And I hope you do join me. The Hake Report is starting, guys. It is starting, believe it or not. And today's Friday. We have the American Anchor Baby doing his Knicks stream thing at 4 p.m. Pacific time because we have the Fallen State today with that Muslim polygamist gal. Isn't that amusing? Should be a fun interview. I am live on IG, Instagram. I streamed live on Instagram and didn't say anything about it yesterday. Not really necessarily on purpose. Live, of course, on my usual platforms, YouTube, as long as they keep me. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, you communists who like to shut down the truth. Rumble.com and other platforms, guys. D-Live. Shout out to the D-Live crew. Am I live on Facebook? I would like to know. Am I live on Facebook? Did it work? Yes, it worked. I wasn't able to stream on my regular Facebook page. But anyway, guys, it's going to be a loosey-goosey Friday show. I do have some guests that will be coming in, with whom you are familiar, because it's Anchor Baby, Joel Friday TV, and JLP's producer SHAWN, that I'll bring in later. Probably this hour. Calls to get to, a little bit of news, a little bit, okay? A female Kansas City police chief, and Navalny died at 47, tender age of 47, gone too soon. He was an enemy, I guess, of Putin. And so they're acting like Putin killed him. And the Russians, maybe evil, I don't know. What else? I don't really want to talk about the so-called same-sex marriage thing in Greece. It's gross. I already talked plenty about it in Hake News. Go check that out. But I may touch on it a little bit. Just the insanity that they're pushing down the kids' throats, honestly, and everybody's throats. I may talk about women. You guys like when Hake talks about women? In terms of, like, relationships-wise, marriages, and what goes wrong between men and women, and what's wrong with the women and the men. A whole lot of mess. So anyway, guys, it's the AJ Gallardo original theme song. Let's get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the AJ Gallardo original theme song. We play the Trevor Wesley one version Monday through Thursday, but this is the original. Nice. Christmas Eve 2017.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. Yeah, JLP pointed out I have my Forest Home t-shirt on. The back of it is all printed. Imagine if I had to go jogging in this shirt. It would be all like sticking to me, this print. Nice. It's gray with a nice blue, light blue ink on it, and it has orange on the back. But I have to keep it moving, guys. I am also remiss in not getting to your super chats. Terrible. I'd like to get to Sean in Florida, who's on the line over here. Sean in Florida, thanks for calling, man. Is it SEAN?
SHAWN.
Okay, thank you for correcting that. You're coming in you're coming in quite muffled, actually.
Okay.
Make sure you're on regular phone. Hey, I like Sean in Florida. She's called into JLP and Hake before. Can you hear me?
Is that better now?
Maybe. Go ahead.
Okay.
And then if not, I'll stop you and put you back on with Sean, the producer, SEAN, the producer.
Okay. It's a question, observation about the.
Are you on speakerphone or something?
I just put it on. You want me to take it off?
Yeah, take off speakerphone. Don't be on speakerphone.
Okay.
She's might be a boomer, not sure. Are you there?
Okay. How's that?
That sounds quite a bit better, I think. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. All right. I can hear you.
Good. Stay close to the phone and speak up loud and clear so that we can make sure that you're getting out, that the people can hear you.
Okay. It's an observation about the migrant crisis influx. I noticed several years ago in the media what was happening, and I think they were practicing for this time now, that when they were going to open the borders to all the people that were coming in, I think it was like a false narrative. You know how the false narrative about the white being doing negative towards the blacks. I give the blame for that. The media being the powerful instrument that it is to change people's opinions, to make them accept lies. I think they're doing that. They're beginning to do that, like with the Mexican immigrants, and mixing it in like it's like Mexican against black against Mexican, and they were doing this several years ago before the border situation ever started. They were saying that blacks were mad about the Mexicans taking their jobs, and I tried to think of anybody that I knew in my world that had that complaint, because I lived around Mexicans, and they go to work and do their thing just like everybody else, and so this thing now, it looks like they're trying to start I guess it's biblical times where the Bible says ethnos against ethnicity. But this is, to me listening to the radio at times and stuff, this is what's happening now. Have you noticed that?
Have I noticed what?
More of the media saying like, okay, Mexicans against blacks and blacks against Mexicans now.
Oh, really? I have not. Every now and then that comes up, though. They try to pretend like they get along, and, for the most part, people get along because people are just nice, and they go along even with evil amongst each other. They kind of just look the other way or just bear with it, grin and bear it. But just like the whites and the blacks. The whites put up with bad stuff from the blacks, and the blacks sometimes put up with bad stuff from the whites, acting funny, weird, overly nice, or acting overly aggressive or loud or whatever. Same thing with the Hispanics and blacks. They get along as long as they can get along, but underneath it, there is hatred, and there's really a lot of crime between blacks and Hispanics. They kill one another even. So, and you're right. With the immigration situation, I even thought that I heard a clip. Don't act like you didn't hear her, James. I apologize. I was distracted because we're coming in so quiet before that I didn't hear everything. But I have noticed that even Al Sharpton is talking about. He even used the word invasion at the border. I don't know if he meant to, but he said that it's an invasion. It's out of control. I think he's saying that because the blacks are starting to gripe about it in different parts of the country, Chicago and places.
And I think they're playing on the media, that is, playing on the fact that making it like, jobs or something like this because of the migrant are coming. They're being let in. They're not doing it on their own.
Right. They're being helped. They're being helped
yeah.
in.
Yeah, so they're being set up to be used. They're going to use them in the future. I heard all this in the past, that the how things were going to happen. They're setting up chaos to bring peace, set up chaos. Then they're going to come with the answer for peace.
Yeah.
And what's going to introduce the New World Order in,
Oh.
So,
I mean, there's always been deception and flip-flopping. The media will hype crime if it's politically expedient to them, or underplay crime if it's expedient to them. The media are very dishonest. They're selective about the facts that they present to you about what's going on. And
exactly.
so they do switch up, and they love division for power, divide and conquer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I had an experience some years ago as a single mother.
Stay close. Keep your mouth close to the receiver if you can. Okay.
I had an experience a few years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, as a single mother, and about them the media trying to play on, about blacks complaining about the jobs and things, stuff like that. Whoever they want to put on TV and make the poster child and make it seem like that's for real. But I was at a program. It wasn't anything about benefits or anything. It was like a medical program. And at this medical program where they sometimes help, single mothers or something like that.
Yeah.
They have to go over your income, and if you're receiving any public assistance or anything like that. At the time, I was. The lady who was doing the search in the system, I was sitting there with her. She was a lady from another country. She was going over my information system, and I was telling her my income and whatever I received at the time. And she said, out of her mouth, she didn't tell me why she said it. She said, "That's not fair. That's not fair." She was looking at my information and what I received at the time.
Was she saying it was you were given too much or not enough?
I wasn't getting too much, definitely. That wasn't an issue at all, because I was there to get assistance because at that time I didn't have the income to get what I needed in the medical. So it wasn't because I wasn't getting too much. She just said that while I was sitting there, and I mentioned it to somebody. I said, the lady who was reviewing my information, and she reviews many people's information about their income and if they're getting benefits of any kind.
Yeah.
She said, that's not fair. And that's the only thing that she said.
Right.
But I took it that I didn't get the answer to that till later. Not from her. I'm in Florida. We had a hurricane getting ready to come through. And you know how some states, they, in order to assist people maybe with needing assistance, they might change the dates on maybe when they're getting their assistance. They might have you get it earlier in the month or something if a hurricane or something is coming through.
Oh, wow.
Well,
yeah.
Here was on the TV talking about the storm, and he made a mention about benefits. He said this. He said that those of you who are getting I guess the highest of whatever someone could get when they're being evaluated for what you're eligible for. He said those of you who are already getting the highest, your benefits will not be increased for the storm, but they were giving you a little increase on the storm just to help you out with supplies.
Oh.
So I said to myself, that must have been what that lady meant, that she saw a disparity in my what I was receiving when there's enough people in the system that are getting more than they're getting the highest all the time.
Oh.
So that's why she probably said, no, I know that's why she said, that's not fair. That's not fair. But she didn't tell me what she meant. So it's not just starting with the migrants coming here, and that's what the media is trying to play on. The black race family, that the migrants are causing disparities in the system. The disparities were already going on,
Yeah.
But I guess media, like you say, is trying to divide and conquer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Every race family, and if you swallow it, you're just going to be caught up in that flow of being deceived when it's evil against good and not race against in the media's that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah. That's good.
You know?
That's interesting, man. I mean, Sean, not man, ma'am,
Right.
ma'am. It reminds me of, there have been attacks on Asians by many blacks around the country in some of these cities, and it's been going on for a long time. But all of a sudden, the media started hyping it.
Right.
And a lot of the Asians fell for it, meaning they fell for the fear-mongering, the anger-mongering, blaming Trump, of all people, for what black people are doing, of all people. And we need not let our attention be directed by the media and what's being reported. Yes, I do oftentimes, for example, on the Hake Report, talk about what's being reported in the media, but that doesn't need to be what dominates your mind, because that's what they're focusing on. It doesn't mean it's important. What you focus on seems important to you was a statement that Mike Cernovich has made on the Jesse Lee Peterson's his other show called The Fallen State. He said, what you focus on seems important to you, but it doesn't mean that it's important. And it doesn't mean, and it's just because they're putting a message to it or a spin to it, doesn't mean that that's the spin or message or meaning that you should accept. Don't be too swayed by anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just a divide and conquer. It's evil. It's evil. The bigger picture is evil against good, not race dynamics. And I know people, they run after that. They know how to bait them with that in the media, making it like a racism thing.
Yeah. When it has nothing to do with anything. I'm going to be talking, I may be talking a little bit later about how men and women get all caught up in something that doesn't even matter, relationships. They get all caught up in their relationship when they should be seeking first the Lord, seeking first the kingdom of God. But no, they're worried about something as dumb as relationships. Or the flat earthers, they're hung up on the flat earth, and if you don't believe in the flat earth, you're going to HE double toothpicks. They believe in, people get hung up on it, on all kinds of stuff that doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to hear from you, Sean. I don't want to be rude, but people are a little bit curious about the racket in the background. Is there another person there, or is it an animal?
Oh, it's a person. I have to table.
Nice. Well, I wish you well, Sean. Have a great weekend. Nice to hear from you. Call me again sometime.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye. I didn't hear any, by the way, I didn't hear any of the chirp. I didn't hear any chirping from the smoke detector, by the way, FYI. So, before I get back to calls and stories, hey guys, do you guys want to come in here? If you guys want to come in here, come on in here. I didn't give them any warning. I gave them a little warning. I have Sean, the producer, coming in. I have Nick, the American anchor baby, coming in. I have Joel Friday here, Joel Friday TV, coming in. And we're going to have a little quick segment. Hopefully I won't abuse your guys' time. Because we actually hung out last weekend. We bore with each other. As the Bible says, you're supposed to bear with each other. because you can barely stand each other.
As if I don't see you guys enough.
I know. We spend like 11 hours a day, some of us more, 12 hours a day at Bond, day in, day out, 6 days a week, 5 days a week. And we hung out on Saturday, on the Sabbath. And what was it for? Nick, Anchor Baby, I would like you to tell what this was about. Cool.
We went to.
Back up a little bit so you can be
where
in
the
the
heck?
in the shot with
Where am I?
with our friend who's the board operator.
Woo.
Who was not invited to this
Yeah,
rendezvous.
I didn't even think of him.
and I'm ticked.
Yeah, I forgot all about.
I wouldn't have came, but I still
Right.
like being
It was a
invited. I
private
like
party.
being-
Yeah, yeah. I didn't invite Hassan.
Huh?
I invited Doug, but Doug didn't make
There
it.
weren't enough wine glasses.
Yeah, we couldn't. We don't know how to split into fifths.
You guys were getting drunk?
No, we don't do that. Right? Silence.
Not on air.
Right.
Moderation.
Yeah, only in careful
It's harder to
moderation.
be.
Okay, so
It's harder to be in here.
True.
Oh, I see myself now.
yeah, there you are.
So wait, what was I talking about?
What were we up to?
Well, we had a benefactor. We had a very special benefactor sponsor the trip,
Indeed.
sort of. Not really, but we went. I had just thrown it out because we had talked about maybe doing something like that,
Yeah.
and our benefactor sent us some very special carne to make burgers out of.
Carne means steak for the people who don't understand Spanish.
Is Mr. Mad in the chat?
It's the real Mr. Mad. I haven't seen him in chat lately. I see him in your chat though.
Because he's not gonna want to hear this. What we did with
I
this,
know.
with this carne, with this amazing steaks that were sent to us by our benefactor.
Yeah.
They were A5 Wagyu, basically. We ground them up into burgers.
A5 Wagyu. That's fancy, right? You guys know what did you guys know
No.
prior what
No.
Wagyu was? You do? You
Yeah,
do?
I think I do.
Okay.
As far as I know, it's like when they massage the cow when it's still alive. They massage like the muscles and
Wow.
the meat and get it nice and tender, so that when they slaughter it,
Yeah.
it's really delicious.
Maybe that's why Hake is so tender, because I get massages.
So you're Wagyu, you're A5?
I might be A5 Hake you. Terrible. And so,
And they were so good.
and it wasn't all A5 Wagyu though. It
No.
was,
Right. So the challenge specifically was to make burgers out of 80-20 ground beef,
yeah.
some choice steaks, some choice cut steaks.
80-20 ground beef is 80% meat, 20% fat,
Correct. And you
Okay.
get this at a grocery store.
and that's your typical burger meat?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, 80-20. Some choice steaks that were ground up.
Oof.
A steak of American Wagyu
Come on now.
and a steak of A5 Japanese Wagyu.
There it is. That's the one.
And we had just a big, we made burgers out of it. The challenge was to see if you could figure out which one was which.
Easy.
Indeed.
We
Indeed.
actually got someone, though. I think with some Anchor Baby trickery, I think I got Sean.
And we had to grind it up. We ground it up before we play the clip, because we don't play the clip of us grinding it up.
No.
That will be in the exclusive Hake supporter video, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll upload that for exclusive Hake supporter, the longer version. But we have like a 4-minute version where we're actually tasting it.
But
So-
if I can say real quick,
Yeah.
people also got to understand that this grinder is not sold everywhere, right? Or
Yeah, we
no?
had to.
Yeah.
We had to find one, but we
Yeah,
were
we had
lucky.
to-
I don't know how we did that. I was calling around and I ended up finding one
Early in the morning, like 7 in the morning.
because I had the attachment for the
On a Saturday.
KitchenAid stand mixer, which everyone uses.
Okay.
And I'm like, cool, I got the attachment. I bet you we could find a KitchenAid stand mixer, no big. I look it up and it's like $250. I'm like, I don't want a KitchenAid stand mixer anymore.
Right. Dang.
So we ended up finding a standalone grind, like a meat grinder.
Harbor Freight, Chinese.
Cheap, too.
Chinese cheap
Tools.
tool store. So
Found it.
yeah, and we ground it up, and one of them ground differently,
Yes.
particularly
the
differently.
Japanese Wagyu.
You
came
look-
out like-
you looked at the Wagyu, the Japanese Wagyu, and it was all like whitish pink, right?
It was like
And then it was like the stuff that we don't need, no education. That pink, that pink stuff coming out, like really Play-Doh-y.
Right. It was. How do I explain it?
But wet. It was wetter. It was more.
You could see separate parts in the other meats, but the Japanese Wagyu seemed to grind in a more homogeneous mixture.
Yeah, it was more like yogurt.
Gritty. It wasn't as gritty.
Right. Yeah. It didn't break up as much. It became more like pudding.
So there's a secret in there that make it so good.
Yeah. So this melts in your mouth.
I mean, what else about the burgers? I forgot I was gonna say something about them.
Let's play this clip. Let's get this clip ready. While you're thinking.
They just rescued some people from the top of
Mount Baldy.
Mount Baldy.
Wow.
Like in the last couple of days.
We hiked up Mount Baldy. I don't have that for the clip. For this little clip, you can watch it in the exclusive if you're a Hake supporter.
Yep.
It was kind of a major hike.
Yeah, it was significant.
Yeah. I was not expecting
It was
that.
not a light thing. It was like
I'm like,
did it?
I told him
That
it's going to be cold, and it didn't even sink into Joel Friday that it was going to be a hike.
I didn't have no gloves or nothing.
No, Joel wore
He was
slippers.
just in his sweats. His sweats and
He wore
running shoes, cross
slides.
trainers.
He wore slides.
I
He
knew
wore easy slides.
I knew it was the real deal when we were passing people coming down the mountain and they had their like ski
Oh,
shoes
yeah.
with
Snowshoes. They had
Hiking sticks
with the sticks. I was like, okay,
and
this
snowshoes.
is-
Yeah, there's those tennis racket snowshoes. Goodness.
I was like,
Yeah.
overreact. I was like, dramatic Californians.
I know. It was so packed too because it had been storming. My goodness,
Yeah.
it took us forever to get it up.
It's beautiful, though.
Yeah.
We were wondering the whole time why people put snow in the back of their pickup trucks. If anyone knows,
They were taking,
Yeah.
why do people steal snow?
I think they were stealing the snow to take down to show the kindergartners who had never seen snow.
To make snowmen.
Maybe.
And women.
they
at
were
home.
packing
Hake
their
is
pickup
holding
trucks
to
full
that
of it.
story.
Yeah. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So
Do they know it melts?
yeah, it does eventually
know.
melt.
Do they know? Because they were packing their pickup trucks full of it.
I just remember being in kindergarten and somebody brought like an ice chest full of snow, and we looked
okay.
at it.
We
My
looked
uncle
at
used
it.
to do it. My uncle used to do it too. He would bring it back, but just for my cousins and I just to play in it.
okay.
But I
Okay.
don't know but maybe there's a different type of purpose.
True.
to it.
Actually,
Maybe.
bringing it back.
But there's also snow cream.
Snow cream,
Snow cream.
snow cones.
Oh, so maybe they're
Ice
using
cream
it.
made
Yeah,
out
they
of
could
snow?
be using
Yeah.
it to make stuff with it. That could be
It's natural.
They're
Yeah.
just going to, they're going to the streets with it.
slushies to make slushies on the corner.
The Mexicans on the side of the road selling.
Okay,
Bravo.
so here's the clip of us tasting it,
Oh yeah.
and then you guys can do kind of live commentary if you
What should I
can,
do?
if you know how to
That
do
one,
it.
right?
Can y'all please steal the snow where I am? There is too much, says Nugget Man over in Canada.
Nope. Did I do something wrong? Are we on Wirecast? Okay, we're ready to play the video.
Okay, let's do it because we're in darkness right now.
Nice. Look how that's laid out. Paper plates.
Quartered burgers, cut in fours. This is why we couldn't invite Hassan because we don't know how to cut in fifths. Also, we didn't think of him. Well, I didn't. Nobody else mentioned him either. Everybody forgot. And so we're tasting it.
This was for you.
Hake's the shortest man there too, by the way. Oldest and shortest. I'm shrinking. I stuck the whole thing in my mouth.
Right on. At least it's good.
Shout out to the benefactor.
Such a funny word. Benefactor.
So the first burger was quite plain.
No. Just like sushi, baked flaming hot Cheetos is kind of like your ginger palate cleanser in between burgers.
Palate cleanser.
Is this number two? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is that burger number two?
Burger number 2 was a little bit better. It's made out of steak.
Oh. Is that so? There's more.
Heartier, a little pithier. That's not a
Pithier.
but if it was, it'd be more pithy.
So far, burger.
More meaningful. I said it tasted exactly the same.
We're going in.
This is
That
the
was, that
third
was my
one.
one right there. That was the
You
one
say,
for me.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Oh, that was different. That was different."
That one changed my life.
Yeah.
that was it.
You really like it.
The third one melts in your mouth,
Melts in your mouth.
not in your hands.
It's a different beef. Wow.
I'm seeing.
And it
big
actually
thumbs up.
tasted good too. Not too plain.
All right, last burger on the plates.
We were so young.
All right.
This is last week.
Number 1, okay.
2 is the American.
Okay.
Number 3 is the Japanese.
I was so sure.
4 is the 80/20.
It's like 100% sure.
Obviously, I like the third one the best.
Interesting.
I think you were exactly right.
Okay.
The third one.
Interesting.
I have no
Yeah.
idea which ones are the ones he said.
The fourth one was good though.
Top.
Gotta be the
That was the one.
That was the one.
He was right about that.
And then the second one, and then the first one.
Godly gifted, by the way.
The one though is Japanese, the Japanese.
The
one.
Japanese Wagyu.
I think I agree with Joel in terms of the ranking. The third one was the best, and then the fourth one is second place, maybe tied for the second.
We're cleansing our palate, by the way, in between
With hot Cheetos.
with hot Cheetos.
Still all right.
Did you guess which one's which?
I'm gonna guess that the third one was the American Wagyu.
I said third was American Wagyu
Okay, okay.
because America's the
You're
best.
feeling good?
I'm a nationalist.
He said racist first.
Yes. Fourth one I think was maybe the Japanese.
Okay.
I was wrong.
The second one I'm gonna guess was the sirloin steak. And then the first one was just a regular old burger.
I think I was right about that, right?
Reveal.
Should I just lift them up? Or are they
No, there's
written
no, there's nothing written at the bottom.
We did not label them. So hopefully Nick
The
did not get him
first burger
confused.
Was the 80/20 burger. The second one was the ground up like good steak. The third one was Japanese Wagyu,
They were right.
and the fourth one was the American Wagyu.
Lame.
Well, that was
America is second best.
yeah, that was an exciting. That was incredible.
Who said that?
Based America first.
Shout out to
Nice.
America First. Amazing stuff.
Shout out
Send
to
more.
Based America first. Send
No, it really
more.
was delicious, and the Wagyu is always an incredible experience to have.
We've had Wagyu before, huh? One time from It's the Real Mr. Man.
Correct. He sent us some steaks too.
So we
Those-
had like
that-
I had a chunk.
Yep. Well, shall we say goodbye to our benefactor?
Thank you kindly.
Thank you very much.
Here he is cooking the steak. The cook. Dancing. Nice.
Call that the Sean Shuffle.
The Sean Shuffle.
Shout out the American Wagyu was 80/20.
What's that? Oh, Sean thought
Thought
the
the-
American Wagyu
was
was
the
80/20.
80/20.
Oh,
Yeah,
terrible.
that
That
was-
bad, huh?
That was the.
I don't know. I have a soft spot in my heart for 80/20.
Oh, okay. So you do like it.
Yeah, I always get the 80/20.
80/20 is perfect.
I don't like burgers generally unless it's nicely seasoned.
Yeah. it
I mean,
has
I
to be-
like them,
It has to be
but it
seasoned
has to
right.
have cheese.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just tastes like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I only liked sausage, bacon. Hot dogs are pretty good.
Yeah. I think kids, everybody was that way.
Burgers,
Plain-
cheeseburger.
Had to.
It has to have a cheese.
Yeah. I had the cheese. Mine was
And bacon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sean and I actually had more than after the camera cut. We had multiple burgers.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Just
That's true.
on
'cause-
one
Man.
thing.
Ooh, so good.
And some
Nice.
tots. The tots weren't in there. There was tots there
Tater
too.
tots.
The order too was I knew you guys were gonna know the exact difference between the steak and 80/20 and the Wagyu burger. So I knew that would be obvious.
Uh-huh.
Like as soon as you bit into them.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I make this? How do I do trickery? I made the 80/20 and the steak go up like sequentially like normal. But then
Yeah.
I just try to do a little, try to at least trick you guys on the Wagyu.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Sean to go 80/20 on American Wagyu though, so it couldn't have gone better.
Wow.
For the house always wins.
Indeed.
Right.
Well, thank you guys for
Yeah, that was fun.
joining me. And,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hassan, for having a good attitude for being left out.
Dude, that's so sweet.
In advance.
I don't have one.
I know that's kind of like it's so presumptuous when people say thank you for your patience, and I'm not patient. What do you
I'm
mean
not beating
patient?
up Nick over here.
I know.
No, I think I broke the chair.
Terrible. So a quick super chat. There was a buy me a coffee regarding the burger movie from Carver. Hey, wait a minute. You only made 4 plates and didn't invite Hassan, but Nick already knew the solution, which was which, so there was really no reason for him to play. Hassan got the short end of that stick. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Nick
point.
shouldn't have gotten anything. The cook doesn't get to eat.
That's true.
Or does he? He eats first.
There was
He goes
a
down with the ship.
Yeah.
Never get high on your own supply.
Nice. What were you about to say?
I lost my train of thought.
Okay.
It's gone.
Terrible.
Well spoken.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys, and shout out to our benefactor, and thanks to also to the real Mr. Mad who introduced us to Wagyu. I'd never heard of Wagyu before.
Where can we buy the Japanese one though? That's the question.
I don't know.
Japan.
Mr. Mad, do we have to go to Japan?
D'Artagnan
burgers.
Or whatever.
That was really
But
good.
people are grinding up Wagyu steaks nowadays.
That's
it's a thing now.
It's trendy to destroy the world's best steaks.
Yeah. There's no.
You just they make sliders out of them, or I've seen Wagyu mixes.
Oh yeah.
It's like a mix of others.
Nice. Well, that was fun, guys. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Let's get to Mark in Los Angeles, California. Mark, thank you for calling and holding, man. You're live on Hake.
Thank you for taking the call. And the reason for the call is I wondered if you've been watching this Fani Willis thing down in Atlanta where she's being investigated for stealing money, her and her boyfriend. Have you paid any attention to that?
You know what? I have hardly paid any attention to it, but I know I caught a little bit. Go ahead on it.
Well, I mean, I've been watching it. They've been showing from yesterday on TV. I mean, what an arrogant witch. She is just, the way she's talking, it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
I don't think she could pass an IQ test to vote. Of course, they don't give a literacy test anymore, but I think they should.
Yeah.
And if you think about what Georgia was like 50, 60 years ago, and today what evil runs that state, I mean, she got elected by the people of Fulton County. I don't know what kind of people would vote for her, but she's a Soros-backed lawyer, prosecutor, I should say.
Yeah.
Who's out to get Trump. And even in her so-called testimony or her interview on the stand, all she was saying is they stole the election. She's already got her mind made up that Trump's guilty. He could in no way get a fair trial.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, she represents the face of evil in America. Fani Willis.
That's true. I'm agreeing with you because I don't even have to know anything, because these people have been all about getting Trump, and they're shameless, and some of them are too ignorant to know how to do it in a slick way that's technically legal. And she's one of those shameless ones, not like our based shameless liar rhino George, whatever that guy's name was, Santos, but she's shameless for evil. Santos is shameless for good.
Yeah. But I mean, just the way she talks, her tone,
yeah,
and the things she says, it's just, I mean, she wants trouble. She wants to be hated, so she could say, "Oh, I'm a victim of racism." This is their argument because they have nothing else.
Yeah.
So this is what this is leading to. I mean, you know, if that's what the future of America is, we're doomed.
Oh yeah.
And you know, and
it's the present of America.
I'm sorry, the present America?
No, it's present day America. It's not just what the future is. This is here. It's entrenched.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I think the only difference between the future and the present is that whites still make up the majority of the country.
Yeah, the older ones do anyway, not the younger ones.
Well, you're talking about racially aware, yeah.
Yeah.
The younger ones are brainwashed and indoctrinated.
Well, that too.
But,
I was thinking about, anybody who's like 20-something and younger, those whites are a minority among their cohort, among their generation already.
I know. You would think that would waken them up, and I'm sure it is.
Some are.
To some degree, to some degree. But by the time we get awakened, we're going to be a minority, and that's exactly what was in their plan.
Yep.
To go along to get along, and then when they become a majority, we lose our rights.
Yeah, and it's already started. It's been going on a long time. Yeah.
Yes, and I think that I'm hoping and literally praying that this fiasco with her down in Fulton County will get Trump out of this stupid mess.
Yeah.
This frame up down there, and so he can. And if he wins on the immunity situation that they're in the Supreme Court with. If I'm not mistaken, that'll throw out Jack Smith's case. The documents case. Won't that, if I'm not mistaken, throw it out if the court rules Trump has immunity?
I don't know, but you may be right. You may be right.
So that would be one frame-up kangaroo court that will be hopefully dismissed.
Yeah.
And then you got this, this evil witch down in Fulton County, and the thief that she is, hopefully that case will be dismissed, and Trump can take back America. And honestly, they say he wants revenge.
Right.
And all this and trying to make it look like but really, in all honesty, I hope he gets elected and I hope he gets revenge. I hope he gets revenge. I hope he goes after the FBI and he arrests Christopher Wray, throws him in jail. That other clown, Merrick Garland, the scoundrel.
Yeah.
He deserves to go to jail. And they ought to find a way to get George Soros in prison.
Oh, wow.
Because he's done a lot of evil.
Oh, yeah.
George Soros. He's brought these district attorneys like Alvin Bragg and Willis and Jack Smith and that other clown. I forgot. There's so many of these demons, it's hard to keep up with them.
Yeah.
But, he's done a lot of damage to this country. And I don't know if you heard it or not, but he's on the verge of buying the second largest radio franchise either in the world or in the U.S.
Who's that?
Soros.
Oh, wow.
So that will mean it's mostly older Americans now who listen to the radio. Few people listen to the radio anymore. And, but the older class are not as computer savvy as the younger ones. So
True.
They still depend on the radio, and Soros wants to get them indoctrinated too.
Go ahead. Make your life.
So I was just going to say, with everything Soros does, there's a bad intention behind it. To me, Soros is Satan's representative on earth.
You mentioned that you hope Trump gets revenge. My chat is saying vengeance is the Lord's. And I think that I don't see Trump as necessarily a vengeful person. And you may not even mean it the way that these people are saying it, but maybe you do.
I was speaking for myself. I don't think Trump is really out for revenge. I hope he does, though. I'm hoping inside that he gets revenge on these demons. But if it was me, I would. I'll let God sort it out when we all die. God could punish these demons for when the time comes. But I'm not going to sit back and let these devils do what they want and then let it go and let God take care of it. No, that's the liberal, spineless way out.
There's a right and a wrong way to turn the other cheek, and there's a right and the wrong way to seek justice and do justice, which is what we should be doing, pushing for is real, actual justice. But realize that whatever happens, God's in charge, Trump will be fine. He's a man. He can take care of himself. And he's not one of these pushovers, that's for sure.
I agree, but he's practically got the whole third world against him. And the communists.
It's interesting. You're right. Third world and communist world, so-called second world. You're right.
Right.
But it's interesting. I'm really not worried about it. I don't follow it. I don't keep up with it. I'm not concerned about it. It's kind of over my head, and it doesn't interest me except to discuss it with you guys who are interested in it. And I like Trump, so it's fun to just point out, hey, these people, they don't care about the law. Give me a break. Trump is the law and order president. You know what I mean? They hate him because he wants to enforce the law with regard to the immigration thing and protect the country, put the country first, not have this globalist stuff. So he wants freedom for the people. Go ahead.
I think that the biggest weapon that the left has in America, the white haters, is immigration. They know if they could flood the country with these scumbags that are coming across, they could win every election for all eternity, turn us into a Marxist state, and eventually genocide the white man. That's their goal. It's an unstated goal, but it's obvious what they're doing. The plan is obvious.
Whites are in the way.
I would say that there's already a slow motion genocide against the white man in America, not just America, but in the world today. Read the book, The War on Whites.
Okay.
And I'm sorry for giving that title, but I don't want to forget it. It'll document crimes against the white man worldwide.
I encourage you, if you missed it, to check out in the first hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, today's show. He covered this Fani Willis woman, and I think you'll be happy. I think you'll feel an inner satisfaction with what JLP is saying about that situation if you didn't catch it this morning.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I will listen up. He's pretty good on all the issues. I mainly call you and
Anchor Baby.
The Anchor Baby, because I get up kind of late.
No problem.
You know, he's off by the time, but he's a good man.
Oh, yeah.
And the last question, who do you think Trump should pick for his VP?
Man, I have no idea. There are people whom I like, but whom I don't think would be good VP picks for whatever reason. People have said...
Ben Carson?
No, I don't want Ben Carson. He's not tough enough.
Is he a rhino? Is he a rhino?
Maybe, but I just mean that he's weak. He's just...
I agree.
He's nice. He's not a vicious rhino, I don't think, necessarily. But he's just kind of soft. And we need a tougher guy. I don't like
what
Vivek.
About a female? Oh, you don't want a female.
No, I do not want a female. Definitely not. But if he does, then I probably... I hate to say it, but I'd probably still vote for him.
Oh, sure. What about Carrie Lake, though?
I'm not too familiar with her. She kind of shamelessly promotes that she's a shameless election denier. I do kind of like that about her a little bit, but I don't know her that well. I like Tucker Carlson, but I don't think he's the choice. There's been other people.
J.D. Vance?
I do. Oh, yeah, you were going to bring him up, I think, last week, J.D. Vance. I'm not too familiar with him, but I wouldn't be against that, but he just seems young. Some of these guys seem young to me.
Well, the problem is if Trump passed, God forbid, were to pass away, you'd want a younger man, I would think.
You definitely want somebody who has vitality, who's not on the edge of death, of course.
And what about, I know you don't like to have women, but Kristi Noem?
I'm not familiar with her that much either. I think she's one of the South Dakota or North Dakota governess.
Right.
I like that they're conservative, but relatively conservative. But I just don't have any trust for them.
What about Greg Abbott?
That's the Texas guy, right?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I've been calling him a rhino for so many years, but he's hit and miss. I wouldn't be too mad about it. It hadn't even occurred to me to pick him. I'll tell you what, I think DeSantis is probably better than Greg Abbott, even though DeSantis is sort of a mess lately.
Well, the thing about those two guys and J.D. Vance is that they're already in positions where they could help Trump as governors and the senator.
Very true.
So maybe it wouldn't be the best thing to have them as VP, but rather have them stay. My hope, and again, well, you're going to say, well, you just said he's with Vance, he's a sitting senator, but I was going to say Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
But of course, he's a sitting senator too.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know really who to pick. I'll vote for Trump really, no matter who he picks.
Right.
I know he's not going to pick Haley, but she was considered. She's ridiculous.
What did you think? You were paying attention to politics back under Reagan when Reagan picked George Bush. What did you think of George Bush at that point when Reagan picked him?
I knew he was no good because in 1980, George Bush the first claimed Reaganomics was voodoo economics.
Ah.
So we knew he was no good. He was an establishment deep state rhino. He was head of the CIA at one time, and he turned out to be the devil. It was just like Trump picking Pence. I knew Pence was no good.
Oh, wow.
You did? I could tell by the way he talked. He seemed weak.
Yeah.
He's amnesty first. Pence was.
Wow.
And Bush. And another thing you said the other day, I heard you say that Reagan gave amnesty to 3 million illegals. He did, and I never heard him say he regretted it. I've heard that rumor that he did, but he did it, and he didn't have to do it. I remember when that happened in '86, and I worked hard for Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And he sold us out. To be honest with you, I think had Reagan not done amnesty in 1986, there would have been no more problems with immigration. I think he could have stopped it at that point, because in 1986, we weren't flooded with the third world like we are today.
Yeah.
California was, but the rest of the country was still pretty white. And, Reagan changed that with giving 3 million of these criminals amnesty. And one last thing, I don't call them migrants. That's a politically correct communist
Very
term.
true. Yep.
They're criminal invaders.
Yeah.
Criminal invaders. I mean, you see what they're doing in New York.
And some of the criminals are the ones helping them come in. Those are the real vicious criminals. Some of the real vicious criminals are the ones who are facilitating this invasion.
You mean the cartels or the NGOs?
I mean the NGOs. Yeah, the cartels too, obviously, but the NGOs and the government, because the government's facilitating this too.
Well, the NGOs are funded under the Ukrainian bill. That's what I heard. I may be wrong on that. It could have been the border bill.
Yeah.
But I know that was defeated. But if I'm not mistaken, there's 2 poison pills in that Ukraine bill. One is a Trump trap, where if Trump wins re-election, he would not be allowed to cut the aid to the Ukrainians. That's one poison pill. And on this one, it's a question mark, but I read, if I'm not mistaken, that under the Ukrainian bill, that they would fund the NGOs to continue to aid and abet the invasion of our country. And the NGOs are made up of fake religious groups like the Catholic League, the Jewish League, all these fake, phony groups who use religion as a shield to destroy our race and nation.
True.
And that's all they are. They're if you really looked into who these NGOs are, half of them would probably be communist or Soros-backed evil doers who use religion as a front.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
totally true.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you, man. Take care.
God bless. Thanks. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
You as well. Just briefly, since he brought it up, a question from AZ Central, which is sort of affiliated maybe with, I don't know what, it's an outlet. The Republic, Dan Nowicki asks, headline from 2018, did Ronald Reagan regret the 1986 immigrant amnesty law, so-called immigrant, illegal alien? Republican U.S. Senate candidate Kelly Ward has made the point several times. President Ronald Reagan's biggest regret, quote unquote, was granting amnesty as part of the 1986 immigration reform legislation and then counting on Congress to secure the border, which never happened. Kelly Ward is a woman, K-E-S, where is that? I forget. Anyway, it's in one of these states like Utah, Arizona, something like that, maybe. New Mexico, Arizona. And is it true? Her argument, Trump and Congress should learn from the failure of the 1986 law as they move forward with the debate on the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, DACA, Obama's unconstitutional amnesty for the illegal aliens who came as minors. Minors, they're not children necessarily. So she said that there's this person who said, David Beer, B-I-E-R, immigration policy analyst with Libertarian Cato Institute, kind of a rhino outlet, but hit and miss. Researched the matter in 2013 and concluded Trump's regret was an internet myth. Oh, that's what he claims. But they're libertarian rhinos. Are they to be trusted? I don't know. This Beer guy, don't know. So I may be wrong when I say he regretted it. So take everything that you hear from Hake with a grain of salt. It seems that Reagan would understand that his law failed to stop illegal immigration, not because we allowed people to stay, but because we refused to allow more to come. In his farewell address, he said he wanted America to open to anyone with the will and heart to get here. Ooh. Trump has said stuff like that. He said, want a big, wide open gate for you guys to come in legally. I'm like, no! That doesn't sound like regret to me, he says. Oh, but that doesn't mean anything because people just say stuff. Trump said that. So I don't know. Michael Reagan, the son of President Reagan, Ronald Reagan, who I believe may be friends with JLP, has been on the JLP show, I'm pretty sure, said that his father never regretted the amnesty part of the compromise, but did regret there was no follow-through on enforcement and border security. Okay. Well, there you have it. He regretted that there was no follow-through. I could believe that. I regret that these evil people did not do what they said that they would do. I regret trusting them. What a mess. Aaron of Aaron C. in Utah. How you doing? I hope you don't mind my calling you Aaron of Aaron C.
It's no problem, my brother.
Nice.
Okay, so what I wanted to say was, it's been a while since I've checked you guys on your Trump worship,
nice,
if you will. For example, I do enjoy when Mark calls. Mark's pretty based. He's pretty cool. However, he still, is under the boomerism spell. The Trump deception, and it's just kind of. I mean, could I at least get you guys to admit at this point that, like, you're just kind of vouching for Trump because it's, like, the only because nothing's going to change, right? I mean, let's just cut right to it. Let's be real. I mean, let's pretend Trump, did get elected this next time around, or let's pretend he was currently, and let's pretend that election, wasn't stolen. So
I disavow that statement. It was not. But anyway. Yeah, let's let's pretend that Trump was base America first and was going to get in office. I agree with you. The country's not going to change, no matter how based or not that he is.
Absolutely nothing's going to change.
Some
Trump's
will change.
Not really based.
A little bit will change. Stuff did change under Trump. Like you, when you say absolutely nothing, you mean like the locomotive of America going into hell. That locomotive has not changed, but some stuff did change. Like American Anchor Baby became a Christian. He used to be an atheist.
Maybe to Christianity. Yeah, I mean, okay, but the bottom line is like, the reason why the elites always win is because they think 10 steps ahead. And what surprises me about what Mark says, he says, "Oh, this has been their plan for a while," and it has been their plan for several centuries now. We know at least, and again, the enemy thinks 10 steps ahead of you, and I feel like you guys, as far as, and again, I love y'all to death, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like with the whole Trump situation, I feel like you guys aren't even able to think one step ahead.
Right.
Because again, even if you were put in power tomorrow, nothing's gonna change. Immigration's not gonna change. Okay, Trump is again, and I'm not trying to bring up the taboo topic, but again, all you got to do is Google Trump's donors bitch shoot, and you're gonna see he's 100% an operative of the Juice crew. He's completely intermarried.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of a joke, man, honestly. And I think that, what are your thoughts on just going for, a lot of us nationalists, real nationalists, that really care, that aren't just, we'll put the responsibility on Trump, he'll save the day, because that is retarded. Let's be real.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts on, like, attempting to pursue that third rail? I mean, shouldn't, like, Jesse and, you and the whole squad there, shouldn't you guys be pushing for shouldn't you be rather preaching a message of, the system is rigged, we need to try our best to get this third option, this third rail going? I mean, what's your thoughts? Because Trump's not going to do anything, and again, I just felt compelled to call, particularly now, because, again, Mark, he calls and he says good stuff, but then he concludes it with all this Trump worship, and Trump's not going to do anything. He's not your buddy. He's not going to do a damn thing. So what is your thoughts on the, just pushing for rhetoric more geared towards the third rail, that third option, just admitting it's rigged, there's no vote that can save it?
I don't think that we're doing anything different from what you're saying. Like you heard JLP say the country is over. We're not getting the country back.
So what's his mentality? Is just don't do anything. I mean,
No, I mean his mentality is return to your fathers, become men, and whatever happens with the country, it is hell. But you are your world. Your world should not be shaken by the evil going on in the country, or the evil going on against the whites, or the evil going on among people whom you think that you love, and all that stuff.
I guess that would have to be a second schism I have with Jesse. The first one is this whole anger thing. I mean, the only way people stand up for justice. This country was created because people did get angry.
Mm-hmm.
So I do fundamentally disagree with them on the anger thing. If someone accosts you, then it's kind of a joke not to get angry. I think that's, again, I love him to death. He says a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
But I do disagree on that. And then I guess secondly, of course, would be, I did hear him earlier today say, in fact, the country's gone, like, do nothing. And again, in the nationalist movement, there is, at least there was a couple of years ago, there was, again, a schism between the people that are like, oh, let's just, get really holy and stuff like that and kind of focus on ourselves, which to me sounds incredibly selfish. This is a great country. I love it to death. For me to just be like, oh, let me just, sure, build my relationship with God, but kind of take that as a moniker to sit back and do nothing. This is going to have to be the second, just fundamental disagreement, I guess.
But you may be misunderstanding. You may be misunderstanding because JLP is not sitting back and doing nothing. He's awakening people or helping awaken people spiritually, shining a light spiritually every 6 days a week, taking the Sabbath off, Saturday off, and so he's not sitting back and doing nothing. I don't know if you heard his comments about Fani Willis. Probably as strong of comments about that Fani Willis woman, this black woman who's taking over down in Atlanta, pushing evil.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's just sitting back. He's doing every bit as much as any of the the more radical pro-whites or whatever, I think.
No, well, let's not push it here. I mean,
what are they doing? What are they doing more than him?
The squad that I used to run with, I mean, they're, of course, the most productive, the most honorable, the most effective. The government, is trying to the elites are trying to combat them.
I don't know. I don't know the specific squad. You've never doxed them, to your credit, and I don't want to either. But I know that there's people who are very activist.
I think you know. But here's the thing, man. Is again, I do commend Jesse 100%. Okay, no doubt. I love Jesse to death. He's very cool. Okay, but again, the only reason why I just felt compelled to call again was the continuation of the Trump worship. It's not just you, okay? It's a whole squad there. I've talked to the Anka baby as well about it.
Yeah.
The Trump worship, I'm sorry, guys. It is immature, and I'm sorry. It's just dumb. It just is.
I got you, man.
I gotta keep it real with you, man.
But what's worshipful about acknowledging that the man is unique among politicians?
I mean, the only unique thing that he did was once he did come in 2016. I do remember the patriotic fervor when he was running and stuff. I was in the Navy at the time, and we were super ecstatic about it. It was cool. Okay, the return of populism. But other than that,
I don't know what populism is.
Oh, just, I mean, caring about your country, the flag of our country's voice should matter. The real American voice should matter once more.
A real American voice should matter. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, but that's like kind of the extent. I mean, that's kind of where it ends. I mean, there is small trivial things, and they're always going to give you these small trivial things to admire about someone that is president.
Is it trivial to admire the man for being a man and standing on what he believes?
Well, if what he believes is not stopping immigration, then I don't care what he believes. Then I could care less.
Oh, I don't care about stopping immigration. That's never going to happen.
Oh, you don't?
No, because it's never going to happen.
If I was in power,
aren't you black pilled enough to know, or truth pilled enough to know that it's even you being in power wouldn't stop immigration?
I'm not black pilled to the degree where I think like it's just utter defeat. I mean, I do.
It's utter defeat. Like, physically, the country's gone.
Ooh, hell, I mean, I'm just saying my particular ethnic group, the founding stock, even if I'm totally aware that we will become a minority very soon and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's gone.
You know, but at that point,
I
we
like
become
jail.
people-
The reason I appreciate Trump, and you guys call it worship, and fair
it's
enough, I
worship,
guess.
Man, y'all praising that dude every day. You're praising him every day. I mean,
Yeah, but that's because there's something
guilty as charged here, boy.
but there's praiseworthy to be one of the only non-phony politician. Because I think you have like a spiritual blindness. For one, you don't agree with about the anger thing, so that's one mark of blindness. Two, you think that Trump should be able to. Trump should be like you or something, or else he's totally owned by the Jews or something.
Oh, everybody should be just like me. Let's keep
Right.
it real. But
And so this is not realistic. He's just a regular boomer, New York liberal who loves the country, and there's no question that he loves.
He doesn't. What makes you say he loves the country?
There's
He's
no
a legit
question.
Billionaire operative elite.
There's no question that he loves the country.
Yeah, there is. But how do you counter? I want to know how you counteract my statement. Like I told you, 1776 happened because people got angry. So we wouldn't even have this country if people didn't get angry. So
I don't know. I don't know if
I'd
they.
like to hear
I don't know if they were angry or not. They might well have been. I can't
think
comment on
they
it.
They were clapping at people, sir. They were angry. But it's okay. I'll just go with Gotti on that. But
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't care. I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
It's speculation. It's like saying
were there
Jesus
and they
was
got
angry. It's like saying Jesus was angry. You're a Christian, right?
Well, yeah, I mean.
And it's like saying Jesus was angry. You weren't Jesus, and we're not the founders. And you're not Trump. And we're not Trump. So we don't know what's in Trump's heart, nor Jesus's what was going on in Jesus's heart at that point, nor the founders' heart. And we don't know whether the founders were good or evil. Some of them were probably for what was right. Some of them might not have been.
I will say one thing though, Hake, I am caught off guard by. So you are like black-pilled to that degree. I had no idea. I mean, you seem like a relatively.
But
happy
you
guy
sound
from
every
here
bit.
to
You're
there.
every bit as black-pilled as me because you know that Trump getting in office isn't going to be a solution. You just think he's owned by the Jews, and I think he's not owned by anybody. He's his own man, regardless of who funds him, and you can tell that he's his own man.
Okay, well, first off,
On some level, he is. There's issues with him, of course. There's weaknesses that you can point out that I guess that I see as weaknesses. You know, he's too nice to the blacks, too nice to the gays, too nice to the women. Works with people, but he has to work with people to get anything done. So I don't have blind eyes about Trump like you think that I have. I think.
I mean, it just don't seem like that, man. You know,
But you jumped. But you have this blindness about you. You think anger is necessary to get any good done when things are dire, and you
if
think
someone
that
violates me, they're going to pay the price. I'm not going to be passive. When I was younger, I was passive, the bully on the playground.
So you went,
yeah, getting attacked, stuff like that. You know, as soon as I started not tolerating much and having a shorter fuse, life became so much easier when it comes to dealing with other men, and especially when it comes to dealing with these hoes. But look, I just want to say two things real quick, Hake.
Yeah.
First off, I don't think that Trump is controlled by the Juice Crew. I don't think that. Okay, there's rock solid proof. I don't have to ponder it. Okay, I know for a fact. All right.
But your basis is just on his funding, is not on how he acts.
Well, people are controlled by who funds them. Again, another common sense thing in life.
Who funds
right?
you?
I mean, come on. My current employer. Yes, you could say they have a certain hold on me to a degree. Now, they don't pay me enough to where they can like control what my speech is and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also at the second time, you know,
Is there any other option to Trump who's a legitimate, real option? Who's not funded by them?
I'm so glad that you said that.
Right.
Just by you admitting that, okay, you prove exactly.
I didn't admit anything. I did not admit anything. I'm just going by what your mindset is. I'm not admitting anything.
Listen, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of my call was to get you to confess that. Oh, you know what other options do we have? We have to pick the lesser of two evils. That's exactly.
No,
the
that's
point.
not lesser of two evils.
It's not.
You're just putting words in my mouth now. Just like you're assigning intentions on Trump.
Well, you said the best option. Like I can read between the lines on that, Hake. Like,
But you're reading the wrong thing between the
man,
lines. There is nothing between the lines. You're pretending like it's this horrific thing that Trump is funded by Jews. Who's not funded by Jews? Who's like going to be a candidate?
And if the problem's not solved till we find.
But I never admitted that Trump is controlled by them.
Oh well, he is. I mean, but again, you were saying that even if he ends up
But you're
in office,
controlled by
it's not
them.
a solution. I'm controlled by this.
Yeah, you are.
Crew?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really funny, my brother. How you figure?
Because this is what you're talking about. This is what matters to you with regard to Trump.
Yeah, I mean, talking about who's destroying my land. Yeah,
They're one of them.
I don't know.
They're one of them, but you're part of it. You're part of the destruction too. You know that.
I'll give you that. Especially when I reflect upon my life. All right, that's deep, Hake. I guess you got me on that with my brother.
See?
But a second ago, again, you were saying that if Trump ends up in office, it's not a solution. So what does that mean? If there's a problem we encounter in life as men, if we don't see any solutions, what do we do?
It's not our
problem.
problem.
How did they invent and innovate and create this, great existence for us? We simply keep searching for another solution, an actual solution. When you're solving an algebra problem and you get the wrong solution, guess what? You got to keep going till you find the right solution, even if it makes you go around in circles, drives you crazy, no matter how hard.
Is it God's calling on your
whatever.
life to save the country?
As an American, it's like isn't it your duty to defend your homeland? Is that not a duty now? That's not a calling now? And I actually did take an oath. I was in the U.S. military. I actually took an oath against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I pray to God. I really do mean this. I pray that during my life, I do get a chance to prove myself in that context. I mean, what would be more honorable than that? Yeah.
Do you think you're gonna save the country?
You think God's myself?
You think God's gonna help you save the country?
Why wouldn't he? He helped create this country in the first place, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
Right. I don't see why he wouldn't lend
He helped
a
create
hand.
Israel too, and look at Israel now. Didn't he help found Israel, the Israel of the Bible? Look at Israel now.
No, the devil created age.
No, I'm talking about the one that he founded in the Bible. I'm not talking about the UN creation.
Sure. I mean, I guess you can have that one.
And was it? Did God swoop in and help the people, the men at the time who were for what's right? Because there were men who were for what's right in the Israel of the Bible. There were a few, right? There's always been a remnant of people from Israel who still believed in God. He didn't help them swoop in and save that country. He let the country fall.
So you're gonna let our country fall?
What choice do I have? You're letting it fall too, even though you're trying. You're grinding your wheels. I mean,
chilling. I don't know. Again, I understand. I mean, again, you guys always get like hyper philosophical, but the thing is like, as an American, okay, if I look at my country's history, I look at the ancestral lineage that I come from. If I look at that, it's supposed to be don't tolerate unrighteousness and wrongdoing. That's the lesson that I get from it.
In
right?
yourself,
I think the Constitution is in place.
In yourself and in maybe your church.
No, not in myself. I'm talking about like, being patriotic, etc. Like the values that I have from the founding of the country, and again, the ancestral lineage, that tells me not to allow people to just walk all over you. And for my personal life, when I don't let people walk all over me, when I do.
Wait. Do you see Trump, Jesse Lee, Hake letting people walk all over us?
No. Again, I told you the whole purpose of my call was to get you to admit, we're just going with the, what other option do we have? I got to have Trump, man, and nothing's going to change if he gets.
But I really don't
but
see.
Again,
I don't see Trump as necessarily excessive. I'll grant that he is. He's working with Jewish people. Yeah. But he didn't do any new Jewish wars or whatever you guys claim. So as
Well, I mean, let's just
one of the
take
people who are controlled by the Jews, he's like the best one. And I don't even see him as an evil. I didn't like Mitt Romney, but I love Trump. I didn't like at all John McCain, but I voted for those two, right? When there was no other option.
Why like Trump independent of that? Why not lump him in with the rest of the District of Criminals personnel? Why not just put him in there?
Because of his spirit.
Again,
I'm not even taking all the stuff that you said necessarily away from you, because there's issues.
You can't.
I mean, you're going a little far, but you don't see the spirit of the man.
How was I'm going far? I mean, what have I said that you think is a fallacy?
I don't want to get into it because of time. It was it was the thing that we already argued about, the Jewish, that he's completely controlled by the Jews.
Well,
he's controlled by all kinds of different things. I mean, he's controlled, if you will, influenced, if you will, has to compromise, if you will, with all kinds of different people and things, some who are against him, some who pretend to be for him.
And let's take the Juice Crew out of the equation. I mean, like Mark said.
But you don't see how this man. You don't see how this man. And then I got to move on, and we'll talk again about it. We can. But you don't see how this man says what he said about Charlottesville. It wasn't perfect what he said about Charlottesville, maybe, but he was the only one saying it, and he stood on that.
These are small, but
those aren't small things. These are small examples of the spirit of the man who stood on the truth against a whole lot of pressure by himself. He stood on, they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some I assume are good people. He stood on the alt-left. They were doing a lot of the violence in the Charlottesville situation. He stood on, they're going to tear down all these monuments. I'm not for that. They're going to, the Confederate monuments, and who's next? George Washington. He stood on the election, the big lie about the election, 2020 election, the big lie that it was stolen. And I disavow that lie, but I love that he stood on it.
Sure.
And there's no other man who's like that.
Wait. So the 2020 election, you think it wasn't stolen, or you just trying
to be... Of course I know that it wasn't stolen for the sake of my channel.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying about the... Sure, maybe
So there's the cuff with people. I don't think that's mere charm. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm fooled. I could be a little bit fooled. I want to we should keep a space between us and any man whom we admire or criticize.
Can I say this, though? Even if Trump was, to be held in such a high regard, like you're saying, based off of his character, let's pretend he really was all that in the Big Mac. The problem is, and again, Mark, when he calls in, he understands this. The immigration is the immigration is the primary factor. If people aren't talking about immigration, then they ain't talking about nothing, as far as I'm concerned.
And he's the only one talking about it. He's the one who brought that to the forefront in 2016 and to this day. And he was actually pretty good on the immigration thing. He made a dent in the situation.
I lived in San Diego at the time. Man, they were still flooding daily because I don't know what you talking about. Didn't one of the caravans come through on his watch, too? I mean,
yeah.
Right.
They were trying to flood in as much as they could because they were panicking and they were trying to overrun it and break him. And so you fell for the psyop, pretending to blame that Trump is to blame for that, when it's not Trump to blame for that.
I guess you're right. The president, at the end of the day, is just a figurehead, doesn't have any real power. But
especially when he's alone, especially when his whole cabinet is against him, and the deep state, if you will, all those agencies are against him, and the courts are against him. What can he do?
Well, that just proves my point even more, that it's ineffective and it's useless.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
we're on the same page on that Trump is not going to save the country. I just like seeing him in office. You're going to vote for him, right? That's a leading question.
No, I only participate in elections that matter. I mean, why would I? What's the point?
So you don't participate in elections?
I don't even think. I'm going to be real with you. It's just my personal opinion. I don't think votes have really been counted since probably the 60s, or I think JFK was the last real president where they literally counted the votes, and they were like, you know what, we're not going to take any chances anymore.
Last quick question.
That's just my opinion.
Last quick question. JFK, evil or good?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one, my brother.
People don't like how you talk black. You talk like you're from Wigger side.
That's awesome. But anyway, no,
You
when
think
guys
that's
came, man,
awesome?
yeah.
Go ahead.
I could care less what the chat likes. I'm the realest.
The chats,
G out
the
here.
chats
I
are
could
decent
really
people,
go.
man. You shouldn't be rejecting. Trump is your brother in Christ, and so are these chat people. Don't reject their
Yeah, I'm sure.
constructive
I'm sure some billionaire
criticism.
from New York. I'm sure
Okay,
some
evil or
billionaire from
good?
New York City
Evil or
cares
good?
about Christ.
JFK.
I have to be honest. I keep it 1,000. I honestly don't know. He comes from a family of like crime, right? Weren't they like kind of like crime?
They
like,
are
originally?
Irish.
Like a crime, like a crime. Well, that's cool. That's based on
That's
Irish
not based.
power.
No, I'm kidding,
Irish
Irish people.
power,
I'm joking. Sean's gonna come in here and beat me.
But anyway, I think elections are like again, it's all just. Like
I gotta
a joke,
run,
like
man.
a
It's good.
WWE
It's
show.
good talk.
All right, yeah, it's my pleasure. Good.
All right,
Take it
take
easy,
care, man. Whew. I blew through the break. I did. And we're going to keep on blowing. John in Texas is on the line. John, thank you for calling, man. And Holden, what's up?
Hey, great show today.
Thanks, man.
And JFK was gay.
As in lame,
homosexual.
weak. Oh,
He was
well,
a homosexual.
I disavow it. But thanks, man.
I
Thanks
wasn't
for the
calling
info.
to talk about that.
Good.
He was saying he had a moral obligation to his land.
Yeah.
I want to know more about that.
I can, based on what he said, I don't know if you caught what he was saying. He said he's part of the founding stock of this country, meaning perhaps that he may go back all the way to the Mayflower or whatever, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria or whatever. Maybe not them. But he's basically an Anglo-white American who feels a loyalty and a duty to fight for the country. He's distraught at seeing it going away, and
He's like a pure blood type.
Pure blood type? What do you mean by that? What's that mean?
I mean, like, that's cool and all. That's pretty cool. If your father's fathers, your fathers, all the way back to the Mayflower, that's cool.
Yeah. And wouldn't it put a little bit of extra fire in you, even if it is all ego or whatever you want to call it, which a lot of this stuff is, but wouldn't that put a little, you would understand a people's loyalty to the country and the founding values of the country, especially if those values helped make the country great, of freedom of
there's love there.
Freedom
Like,
of speech.
That's love.
Yeah. And there are people who can take on the spirit of America if there's a few immigrants and blacks and others who have that love for America. I think JLP embodies that. American Anchor Baby maybe has that. So
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt there.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Is it silly to think that we may overpopulate?
I think it is. Overpopulate, like a city, it's not silly because I feel that cities may be a bit overpopulated. There's a lot of traffic and mess, and the cities are not well run because they're run by liberals. But as far as the country, no. The world, no. I think it's silly to think that. I personally think so.
Do you know any like real estate investors? What do they think about overpopulation?
I don't know. I don't know any. I've never asked any real estate investors whom I know about the notion of overpopulation.
And what is a moral obligation to the city?
Oh.
Is that real?
Depends on what you mean. Like, I sometimes pick up trash in front of the business here. I think it's a moral obligation for the good look of Bond, this building here, to clean up in front of it. The city itself, you have a moral obligation maybe to your fellow man to treat your fellow man decently and to keep your house presentable, lest the property value of your neighbors goes down. So that in that sense, there could be a moral responsibility or obligation.
Well, man, I appreciate you taking my call, man. Maybe I'll call back another time, talk more about this.
That sounds great, John in Texas. Thanks, man. Do call back sometime if you can.
Bye-bye. Hey, great show.
Thanks, man. That was a nice call. And thank you, by the way, to Aaron of Aaron C for that call. To me, that was interesting. I went like 25 minutes with him. Terrible. Okay, we're almost to the bottom of the hour. I'm going to take my music break because, hey, it's Fob Friday. The Chinese are taking over. And this is Jacky Cheung. You guys like Jacky Cheung? And it's in American. A Touch of Love by Jacky Cheung. It's sort of a Christmas song. I forgot about it. But here it is, guys. You musical Philistines. Hope you enjoy it.
Tis the season now for gifts and giving all the love our hearts and dreams can afford. And when I think about the hope that you've handed out, I wanna give back all I have and then some more. But I'm only human, I can only do so much. All the miracles we need is just one touch from me, from you, helping someone who can't make it on their own. No one wants to be alone at a time like this. Only joy should exist when the world gets too much. All we need is a touch of love. It's a touch of love. When hard times appears, when we drown in our tears, it's faith enough to see us through. Whatever rain on us, we can always trust the heavens sent will guide us through. Yeah, we're only human, but we can all do so much. All the miracles we need is just one touch. Yeah, just one touch from me, from you, helping someone who can't make it on their own. No one wants to be alone at a time like this. Only joy should exist, but when the world gets too much, all we need is a touch of love. It took a child to touch the world.
Jesus, touch the world.
Just think what we can do. Think of the miracles from me, from you, helping someone who can't make it on their own. No one wants to be alone at a time like this. Only joy should exist when is too much. All we need is a touch of love.
Man, I'm ruining his great singing.
It's a touch of love. All I need, ever need, is a touch of love. All I need, ever need, is a touch of love. Love, love, it's a touch of love.
Come on, Simba. Let's go home. Great singing, says Greenwall. Presumably about Jacky. Cheung is how delighted to be here says it should be pronounced. Play human music, not Chinese noise, says Lin Yan Chin. Nice. Shout out to Jacky Cheung. Jacky Cheung. I'm remiss in not checking for super chats. I appreciate you guys over there, over on buymeacoffee.com. Chris Person 77 bought three coffees. 3. Can you repeat or summarize what you were saying yesterday about overeating being the ego? I didn't even say overeating. I just said eating, because you don't even have to overeat for it to be ego. It made sense at the time, but when I try to reflect on it, it's gone. I could go back to yesterday's show, but I'd rather give you a coffee for the info, or 3. Thank you, Chris Person, 77. Yeah, I mentioned Joel Friday appreciation, because earlier this week, Joel Friday TV, who is not going to be live today, that I'm aware of, talked about staying lean in his like Monday or Tuesday show. And he said 99% of the time, probably more than that, when you eat, it's for ego. And I'm like, ego. And I've been around JLP talking about ego this and ego that. And when I first heard it, I was like, ego? Ego has to do with pride. But ego is just the sense of self, the false sense of self and the selfishness. That self is fake. And it's eating to salve that lack of peace that you have on your inside to feel good. Why do you feel bad that you need to feel good? Or why do you need to take that? And Joel talked about being aware and setting times and bearing through the times that it's not time to eat. And it kind of helps you suffer spiritually, if you will, or suffer, if you will, through the emotional greediness, voraciousness of your God is your stomach, to get past that. As JLP and others have said, and the Bible says, gluttony. The things that men have to overcome, the last things that men have to overcome are food and S word. X say. Sex. So the non-word ego equals sensuality now, Hake? Women are all about being sensual, lost in the sensory experience. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it includes that at least. Everything to do with self, Lin Yan Chin. Because ego means I. And there have been Christians who have said, oh, I do not exist, the I. Only you exist, God. Me without you is supposedly Christian. Isn't your spirit in your belly? Says Kevin Howe. Maybe. Or at least you definitely feel a weird physical feeling when you're... Where's our shout out, Hake? Asks Fuzzy Butter Bear. It's not butter. Shout out to D-Live. You definitely feel feelings when your emotions are going through mess. I hope that helps, Chris, person 77. As the Bible says, be self-controlled and alert. awareness. Pray without ceasing. Watch and pray, Jesus said. Pray and watch, JLP says. Nice. So that could help with like the eating thing. Popcorn's Thump Keg over on Buy Me a Coffee. Do you agree with Jesse's sentiment that you get what you deserve in life? I think that it rings true to me. It rings true to me. Sounds true to me. Just like when I read the Bible, it rings true. The principle is in the Bible there. By that standard, if someone gets a jail sentence, does that mean that they deserved it? Unless you're picking and choosing, which means this statement doesn't have much value. On some level, even an innocent man going to jail could be just what he needs. Or he missed something. He did something, put himself in a situation that he should have known better. Even if he's innocent of the crime to which he's convicted, falsely convicted, and it's an injustice, but he still, on some level, deserves it or gets what he needs. Such as these kings who should keep their chin up, who are serving prison time under phony pretenses. Derek Chauvin, my opinion. The January 6ers. On some level, those January 6ers deserve it. Derek Chauvin, maybe he should have been a little bit more alert and sensitive to the notion that the attack on whites right now is so bad that they're going to look at you and judge you falsely. Practically everybody will. So on that sense, yes. When you forgive your parents, is your anger taken away from you? If you do still have anger, doesn't that mean you're a liberal? Yes, if you do still have anger, you are a liberal. And so many people have heard forgive your parents from JLP, but not seen for themselves that they're angry or whatever. And they're just doing it because they're told to do it. Not from the heart, not seeing that they are wrong for being angry and actually repenting for the evil in them. Those people may just be saying it and kind of meaning it, but still need to overcome or whatever. So hopefully that answers your question. Evil. I was remiss in not reading this super chat. Evil is real bought a coffee yesterday. Before he even called into my show, I think. Saying we really need to stop referring to races by skin color. There's so much more to race than skin color. Indeed. Indeed. Like Aryan race is also pro-family, high-trust society, innovation, rule of law, ethics, consent. So much more than just white. Yep. Very true. Just like he says Negroid race is also high crime, quick to violence, rule of the jungle, mud huts, no family, low IQ, and high R-word tendency, ape-ray tendency. So much more than just black, he says. I disavow this completely. But there are issues. There are issues, and they've been long-standing issues. People fall into these different traits. All of God's creation have their distinct personalities. What a mess. I have to get to Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. On that note, thank you, Joe in Phoenix, for holding in there. Are you there? I think he's getting there.
Sorry about that, James. I had to step away to the bathroom.
I appreciate you coming back to the phone. Nice.
All righty. First things first, total immunity for Trump. You know, it got rejected at the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, right?
Oh, okay. Nice. No, I don't keep up with this stuff.
Yeah. Now, it may be taken up by the Supreme Court, but that's not a given.
Right.
And I would, you never know. You never know, but I would have a hard time seeing the Supreme Court overruling that circuit court ruling. It was really a well-done ruling, very thorough and very well researched. So, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Trump can take care of himself.
Yeah, the only way Trump gets out of all this legal mess, like I told you, is if he gets elected again, which could happen.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how they're just trying to bury him out of pure viciousness and nastiness, just hatred?
We disagree on that. I think.
Oh, you think they don't hate him?
No, I know they hate him, but I think he committed all the crimes that he's being prosecuted for.
Oh, okay. So you do admit they do totally hate him.
With good reason. He's been an absolute scumbag, so yeah.
There's never a good reason to hate. You're a Christian.
I dislike them.
You're such a woman. You're like a mama.
Yeah, I love to say that. That's all right.
But it's true. No, isn't that what mothers say? Don't hate. Now, don't hate. You remind me of, shout out to the gal.
You're the one saying don't hate, not me.
In church, no, but don't hate because, well, I mean, but you just said dislike as though it's okay to dislike, as though that's different from hating. That's what I mean.
It is different. It is different.
No, it's not, because they do hate Trump. And there's no good reason for it. There's no good reason to dislike Trump. He's not a scumbag.
He's an absolute scumbag.
He's a scumbag for Christ. He's a scumbag for America.
Nothing. He has the most un-Christ-like behavior going. Kidding me?
No, come on. He's very Christ-like.
Cheating on his wife.
That's in the past.
Oh, yeah, just hammer that away, huh?
Yeah.
Cheating on his wife.
That's in the past. You said that already.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did. You said cheating on his wife, and you said it twice, like Satan. Satan, the accuser, keeps on repeating stuff that you did in the past to try to make us feel guilty for supporting a man of God who repented.
Okay, so I'm a snake, I'm a woman, I'm Satan, and anything else you want to get out there, James?
I mean, I don't know if Trump repented or not, but it's irrelevant. Like, who cares? That's not why you judge Trump as a scumbag. Come on, is it?
I also judge him as a scumbag because he ran up the deficit and the debt to huge amounts we never saw before.
But who does? I mean, who cares? That's not scumbaggery. He had to save the economy. He had to rebuild the military and save the economy. That's not scumbaggery.
Didn't save the economy at all.
Are you serious? You really think of him as a scumbag over his spending?
Reckless, irresponsible spending, absolutely.
But reckless and irresponsible spending, you can say that. But scumbag over that? Really?
Just one factor of many.
Okay. Third and final one, just for now.
Just for now, he overcharged our Secret Service by thousands of dollars when they were protecting him abroad and at certain hotels. He made them stay at his hotels instead of what should have been a much lower cost and closer by hotel.
Oh.
That's scumbag behavior.
That's scumbag?
Yep.
I don't necessarily think so. This is the first time hearing about it, maybe the second I've heard about it. It's very kind of niche issue. But okay. Kind of one of these nitpickers.
I know you always say that I bring up piddly facts.
Yeah, piddly facts.
Trying to provoke me. That's okay, James.
I'm literally not trying to provoke you. I'm just feeding you back what I perceive about you. I may be misjudging you, but it's how I see what you are doing.
That's okay. You know how I feel about you as well. So.
It's not I'm not really even mad about it. It's just that's how you are. Mm-hmm. And it kind of informs why you're such a Trump hater.
I don't hate Trump at all.
Right. You just dislike him and call him a scumbag and nitpick. But go ahead.
Well, if you can call Obama a communist and an evil person, then I can say I dislike Trump.
Of course. This is America, and we're free, somewhat.
That's right.
Yep.
But Georgia, one, she is not going to get removed. It does not matter if she had a relationship with someone on her own team. It'd be a problem if she had a relationship with someone on Trump's team. Then that would be grounds for dismissal, but not someone on her own team.
Oh, this is that Fani Willis woman out of Atlanta area?
It's not about stealing money. There's no money being accused of being stolen. It's about being misappropriated. They're trying to say that she paid the guy to be on her team, and then he took her out on dates, so she benefited from the money that she was paying him. Is what they're trying to argue.
Oh, yeah. I don't even pay attention to what's going on against Fani Willis. It's amusing. Did you see how she acted?
Yeah, she was clearly very unhappy with all the things they've been saying about her, and she was ready and waiting for her chance to speak back on it for sure.
And she was nasty, huh? I caught a bit of a what's
animated,
that?
Yeah.
Animated.
She was definitely animated about it, sure.
She was a scumbag. Scumbagette.
Okay. For what? Just because she was animated about protecting her reputation? I don't think so.
She was, as JLP called her, a black beep.
I didn't hear him say that. I didn't hear a show this morning, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, you should catch it. Just as I directed Mark from Los Angeles to go check out the first hour of JLP's show where he covered the Fani Willis thing, I encourage you to check it out. I think you will, your eyes will be opened to the evil
maybe.
of these black women in power.
Last thing, and I know you've had a lot of callers this last hour or so. So the guy yesterday, I forget his name, the Civil War guy, said that Lee did not separate his slaves and sell them off. He absolutely did. And for proof of that, a source on that, go to the American Civil War Museum in Virginia. They talk about it in depth.
And was this Lee separating slaves' families? That's generally the Confederate American hero.
Hero, yeah, right.
He was this to do with Daniel in Texas is our resident historian, and sometimes he gets stuff wrong and he comes back and corrects it. But he said that it didn't happen. But he did say that maybe under this John Brown slave revolt thing, maybe Lee separated them at that point from their families?
No, it wasn't under John Brown. It was he had a lot of debts after the Civil War. He had to sell off slaves to pay those debts, and he separated them from them.
Oh, okay. And how old were these people when they were separated from their families?
It wasn't just one instance. He did it multiple times, so they were different ages.
Of course. But do you know, like, was it like a child separated from his or her mother and father?
From what I've read, there was some of that, yes. I can't tell you the exact age. I didn't see that.
So, like 4 years old or like 13, 14 when you're basically a man or a woman?
Well, again, I didn't see exact dates named ages.
Because separating families, or were husbands and wives separated from each other?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's okay. It happens. It's better than divorce, in my opinion.
Yeah, we disagree on that, but anyway.
I totally don't. Listen, if my parents, I shall not dox whether my parents divorced or not, but say if my parents divorced, I would be more traumatized by that because that's a spiritual evil that came between them than if the government came in or based General Robert E. Lee came in and separated my parents and said, you get sold to this master and you stay with this master. I would understand the separation. It wasn't a spiritual evil trauma. It was just a worldly, maybe injustice, you could call it, I guess. But
that's an interesting distinction, James. Interesting.
Isn't it kind of, I really think morally, it's not a moral failure and trauma by my parents on me. It's just the outside world, the way of the world, doing some thing that you could argue is maybe evil.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting, man. I appreciate your call, Joe in Phoenix, Arizona.
Have a good day.
All right, you too. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Frederick says, right out of the womb sometimes. They took the baby right out of the womb. Nice. Nice. I mean, that happens with adoptions, too. I don't really like that. He has the broadest sense of doxing on the planet. Yeah, indeed. Quinten out of California is on the line. Quinten, what's up?
What's up, man?
Hey.
How's it going?
Going well.
Hey, so, I guess, I've been hearing everyone talk about politics and Trump specifically.
Yep.
So when Trump was in office, Like, what were some things that you actually liked that he did specifically?
I liked
just the.
I liked his stance on the Charlottesville thing. The Charlottesville Unite the Right rally. I think you may be familiar with it. I don't know. In August of 2017, the right-wingers, the whites, and others protested the tearing down of the Confederate monuments, such as General Robert E. Lee in Charlottesville, Virginia. And the evil people came against the whites, their right to protest, and fought amongst them. They were allowed to fight. The Antifa, Black Lives Matter, were allowed to attack. And Trump was the only one who told the truth about that situation. The media blamed it all on the whites, and Trump did not. So I loved, that was a big example that left an impression in my mind. I liked when he tweeted, we're not going to do the transgenders in the military right now. And that shocked the military so-called leaders. The generals were exposed as being backstabbers and rhinos, or whatever they were. Evil liberals. But he was just real. He was real, hit and miss, you could say, of course, but real, just a real guy, the whole way through. So,
okay, what were there actually any things that you didn't like that he did?
Nugget Man keeps bringing up how he waved the gay flag on stage. Maybe some fans of his.
Oh, does he?
He doesn't.
Really?
I don't know if he does it, but he did it. He doesn't do it. I don't think.
He's done it in the past.
He's done it in the past. He probably would do it again if there were gays for Trump. He would be hey, gay friends, and he would be. I don't know if I would do that.
Okay, well then. Okay, well I mean that's kind of what I was going to lead into, is that it's like this is like by no means to offend anyone that's like a. That's like a hard right winger or someone who's very prominent Republican, but it's like Trump is a politician. Like they're all politicians in my mind. So
okay.
It's kind of like, of course, Trump's going to do things that gets people on his end, just like any other politician would. Would you agree with that?
Yep. He's a real guy as the politicians go, though. He's not one of these, phony politicians.
Well, what does that mean? What is, a real guy?
Look at him on stage compared to the people whom he's debated in the 2015-2016 run for president. He was just a man among boys. These guys were phonies, saying political words. And he was just speaking from the heart, speaking as he sees things, just being real, just being genuine.
Sure.
Do you see that? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I know that he's very outspoken towards his political opponents, his political rivals. I think a lot of what he says, I've even seen other commentators speak on this. A lot of the things that he says are oftentimes walked back later, and it's like, oh, actually, this is not factually true. It's like any other politician. You just sort of say things, and then you look back at those. There was really no merit to what they said at all. I mean,
I think more often,
I don't know.
More often, Trump is proven right in what he's said than walking back. I get that he may overpromise sometimes or say stuff
hits and
that
misses, as you said.
Yeah,
sure.
but overall, the stuff that he repeats that people deny, it turns out to be he's more on the side of what's true. He's closer to the truth.
Well, but truth is also selective. It's kind of like science.
No, facts are selective.
You can really lead with.
You can select with facts, but big picture.
That's a good way of going about it.
Big picture truth. Don't be afraid of the virus. We played that on the J.S. Lee Peterson show. Not me, but JLP played that in I think the third hour. Don't be afraid of this. Don't let it control your life. I get that that's not a factual statement, but that's a great point to great advice. And then the media's like, no, you should be scared. So
Well, but that's what's funny is because we know that even hypertension and stress is literally unhealthy.
Yeah.
So that's why it's funny, but I mean that's a whole nother
It is,
thing.
but that's part of what I love about Trump, that he's a man who doesn't overreact. He's like, and he wants other people not to overreact and to have peace and to be free. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know, I could see that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I get it. I just at this point, like I really don't understand. Like if you just even look back through history, like every single term that's like led up to this, it's just like two wings of the same bird. So like I don't like we've already been through a term with Trump, we've been through a term with Biden.
Yep.
And like now it's like, okay, we got the same players again. Like at this point, I don't understand why anyone wouldn't vote like independent at this point.
Oh,
like I don't understand. We're just
you don't like Trump?
It. Then it's not that I don't dislike Trump.
No,
It's
I mean
just like
for a
we've already
president,
been
you wouldn't
through
vote Trump? You don't think he's the man for
No.
the job? Okay, man.
No,
you know what? I have to.
I
go ahead, real fast. 10 seconds. Go ahead. Spit it out.
No, I just think we've already been through a presidency with Trump. We already seen what he can do, which I understand 4 years is really okay.
All right. Bye. Guys, this is Frog Eyes Friday. Akhian Press, the Akhian Press. Adios, America. Bye. Sorry, William.
I had a better fall. I fell into the sea. I wish I was the mother of an engineer to be. Widening the borders so the fathers on their knees will go and run from the rain. Oh, bleak satellite. Oh, with grace and a semblance of an miracle might you make a bastard? Will he row hard? Will he row for free? Row to the dance song again. Oh, isn't it sad? Isn't it the same? When the better thinkers in the way they cover me. I wish I was the mother of an engineer to be. Row to the dance song again. Oh, please satellite. With grace and in a semblance of an miracle, might you make a bastard? Will he row hard? Will he row for free? Row on, Master Jane. Oh, isn't it sad? Isn't it the same? Pushing up the miracle with a miracle.
No Joel Friday.
I hate hell and then I hate Rose. No, I really want to be free. Oh, first, alright, but it's a burden in the night. Oh, welfare's alright, but it's a burden in the night. Hate borders, hate the free, hate the billionaire to be, and hate for the miracle with the miracle.
Sorry, super chatters. I'll have to read your super chats Monday.
All right. Welfare's all right, but it's a burden in the night.
Adios, America. Bye.